Hello and welcome to a new video in Practical Sheets. Today we continue our help desk system project where we want to collect customers' claims or questions or anything they may need from some of our areas, and everything through a Google Form formulary. And what we want to do is that automatically, once the requirement is submitted, it goes to the corresponding person, and that we can start the process and measuring times and tracking and everything. So what we've done in the past is manually set up the connection between Google Forms and Google Sheets. I invite you to the previous two videos so you can see how we did this setup. And we have a requirement code that will be used to track our requirements. And we have the email of the customer, the area in which he wishes to communicate, his requirement or comment, and what we did last video is to add a responsible, and the responsible depends on the area. So we have here an area list where we have the area, which responsible or department, which responsible we have, and which email. And we set up everything through Google Apps Script so that once you can see that the formulary only has these three questions: email, area, and requirement. And everything else we set up through code. The consecutive, the date of the requirement, the hour of the requirement, the responsible of the requirement, and the email of the requirement. Okay, so what we're going to do today is continue this flow and send an email to this responsible and maybe another email to the customer, so that they know that the times for the requirement start right now, and then we can continue tracking the last part, that would be the response. How long does it take and how do we measure that? So we already have the email, so sending the email won't be a problem. Let's go to our Google Apps Script that is attached to our Google Forms, and I have my add answer function that is triggered once a form is sent, and it populates all of this. So what I want to do is, once it populates this, then we can send the email. I already have everything. I have my responsible email. I have my variables. So now what I can do is set up the mail. We can set up for now a very simple email, and then we can give it a more professional look with HTML and all that. But for now, I want it just to send the email. I want to go baby steps, and then we can improve it. So I need two variables. The first variable is my subject. I already have the emails where I'm going to send. One is this customer email, and the other one is this responsible email. So I already have my email. Now I need to decide if I'm going to send the same email or different emails. The subject will be help desk system requirement, and maybe we can append the code, which is this code variable, or let's say here number, and here it will be code. Then we're going to do our message. Again, we're going to do a very simple message. Here in the message is where we can separate the message for the customer and the message for the responsible. First, the message for the customer, and it will be, hello, thank you for your requirement. We are processing it, and you will hear from us soon. I don't know. I'm not very inspired today. Soon. The number of your requirement for future reference is, and then we can append the code. Finally, we can do a point and this slash inverse slash n, so we can do a line break. And finally, we can say regards, again, another line break, and a Practical Sheets team, something like that. And then we can have the message for the responsible, that it will be a bit different. Message responsible will be, hello, you've been assigned the help desk system case number. Here we can put the code, and maybe we can put the requirement so he knows, and let's say by the user. It's good to have the email, so I can have here customer email, And let's put the requirement is, and we can add here, we can append the requirement. It's not the best email, but it's a start. Now we're going to send the emails. We have the subject that is the same for both, and we have the customer message and the responsible message and the emails. So we're going to have two different emails. For sending emails, we're going to use this Gmail app, although we could use also the Mail app. It's up to you. It has very, very small differences. And we're going to use in both the method send email. Send email has 3 main arguments and some options. For now, I think we're not going to need the options. We're just going to need the 3 main arguments. The first one is the email. So let's start with the customer email. So it will be customer email, and then the subject, and then the customer message. Message customer. And then we're going to do Gmail app, send email, but now it's responsible email, subject, and responsible customer. Message responsible. Okay, now I think that's it. There's not much more to it. We're going to save. I think here I forgot a plus sign, and that's it. Let's save again. And it's okay. So I'm going to send it to this, everything will go to my Practical Sheets email, so it's not a problem. So I'm going to save. If you've copied this file from the template in the Patreon page or in another place, make sure that you change this ID for the ID of your Google Sheets that you find here. And the other thing you need to make sure is that this add answer function is attached to a trigger here, a trigger on form submit. Now we're ready. We're going to go to this preview and send an email. Let's go here, and I cannot subscribe. Let's submit. First, we're going to see that everything is working here. It should have sent to Anne. Now we're going to go to our Gmail. And you can see here an email. Let's see what it says. Help desk system requirement number 4. Hello, you've been assigned the help desk system case number 4 by the user jsguzmanb@gmail.com. The requirement is I cannot subscribe. Again, it's a very simple message. We can improve it later, but it works great. And we're going to go to the send to see that we also sent to the customer. Look, I sent to this one, and it says, thank you for your requirement. We're processing it, and you will hear from us soon. The number of your requirement for future reference is 4. I think we can improve this code in the future. Maybe it has some letters. Just let me know if you want it to be a bit more professional and not just a number. Maybe a more complex number, 004. I don't know. It may seem more pro. Again, so that's it. I think it looks really good. What else can we do? In this same requirement, we could include the status. So we could have maybe 3 or 4 different status. We can have open, we can have closed, we can have processing, we can have canceled. I don't know. There may be some. We're going to create a list. I always like to create a list sheet where I put different lists I'm going to use with my data validations and all that. So here I can say status. And we can put, let's say, first open, now closed, then processing. Maybe processing should come before closed, canceled. I don't know, there may be some others. So here we could add data validation, although I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest, if once we append the row, the data validation is going to be respected. Let's see, we can experiment. So I'm going to go here, Control Shift down, data validation. We're going to say list from a range. We're going to select a data range in my lists. I'm going to go from A2 up to, let's keep it to A13 maybe. I don't think we're going to have more than 11 different status. If you want, you can put it broader or even remove this 13 and keep it open until your last row. Let's say okay. I'm not going to reject it right now. Just save. And here I have my status. So the first thing I'm going to do is that once a requirement is open, obviously the status will be open. So here, once I add this row, the last component will be open. That's it. I don't know if I put it with the first capital letter. I think so, yes. So let's put this all caps, save, and let's do another one. Just to check, it's always a good practice to check every step you do, because then if you do a lot of changes, a lot of lines, then you don't know where is the mistake. So we're going to submit. Let's go here. Perfect. So it does respect my data validation, so this is perfect. And we have it open. This is very nice. So now there are many ways of doing this, but one possibility is that the responsibles and Sebastian, everyone that is here, Mari, all that are responsible, that may be responsible, once they get the email, they can see what is the requirement, and once they understand it, they can say processing, and then they can say closed. One thing that can happen if we do this is that we cannot have a tracking history, because if we change this, well, it's difficult to know when it was open, when it was processed, when it was closed. We could do this with AppScript to have a log of when a process was opened, closed, processed, everything, so that then we can do some stats. For now, I can leave it like this, and we could, for example, do some other mails. So the first email I sent says that it has been received. When it says processing, then we can send another email if you want that says your requirement is being processed. And once it's closed, it says your requirement has been closed. Please let us know, or maybe I can send another form for a satisfaction questionnaire or something like that. But with this status, then I can do some stats. I could have how many cases I have open, how many cases are processing, and I can do a dashboard by responsible, how many cases they have opened, they have processed, they have canceled. So I think this is good. I think we can leave it here by now. Just let me know. I think there are a lot of things we can do, but for now, I think this works. In the next video, we could refine our email system. We could, again, send some emails when this is closed, for example. The other thing we can do is not leave this status, but maybe have here the status in some columns. We can have here open, processing, closed, and put the date where it start open, when it start processing, when it closed, so we can have a clearer view of how many days does it take. There are many possibilities. Or we can leave both. We can have here date opened, date start processing, and date solved. And we could do this. Once I put open, here I have one timestamp, then once I put processing, it puts another timestamp, and once I put closed, it puts another timestamp, and I have my 3 dates, and that's it, and I solve all my problem. And I can have some stats of how long all the company and each area and each responsible is taking solving the cases. So that's it. I hope you like it. And please let me know, how can we improve it? I have in me 1 or 2 more videos before I'm out of ideas, and then you can tell me what more ideas we can have to improve this system. So thank you so much. And as always, you can support me in my Patreon page, where you can find the templates and the code for all of the videos, not only this project, but all of the projects in the channel. Or you can just subscribe and hit the notify button so you can receive notifications when new videos are published every week. Thank you so much. See you next time.